Welcome to the deep dive. Sometimes you find insights in the strangest places, maybe even places that seem like they're, well, hiding something. Today we're looking at some really unique source material. It's a detailed account of the missing person case. Daniel Pike. He was a sound engineer, and his story is mostly documented through audio recordings.
That's right. The core material covers Daniel Pike moving into this old farmhouse out in Ashford County. This is back in the fall of 2019. The house itself, built way back 1898. And Daniel, he was recently divorced, really just looking for quiet, a place to work. So our mission here is to really dig into the sequence of events, the actual documented phenomena that led up to his disappearance.
Yeah, the setup is,
Oh,
it
yeah.
really sets a mood. Wanted isolation, right? No neighbors, just this long dirt road leading up to the place. But the sources mention this detail right when he arrives, something that kind of undermines the whole quiet retreat idea. The house smelled like dust, which you'd expect, but also something else, faintly sweet.
Yeah. That detail, it suggests something organic, like slow decay, maybe. It immediately tells you the house isn't just empty space. It feels lived in or maybe remembered in.
Right. It creates this sense of, I don't know, expectation. Like the quiet isn't really quiet. He's this sound professional expecting peace, and instead he gets this atmosphere that already feels heavy.
Yeah, heavy is a good word. And it gets stranger pretty fast.
Okay, so let's get into the documented stuff. It didn't take long, right? Only the third night, and the source is very specific. This wasn't just the house settling, no creaks or groans. It was a whisper from under the floorboards.
And how quickly it became personal, that's what's striking. The first sound wasn't just noise, it was like recognition, described as a faint, fragile voice, first asking, Daniel.
Chilling.
And then even more so, you came back. Imagine moving somewhere for total anonymity, and the house itself seems to know you, maybe even expects you, from beneath the floor.
It's an immediate psychological, well, assault, isn't it? Undermines everything he was looking for. And it wasn't just a one-off thing. After that, it got structured. There was a single knock first, quiet, also from under the floor. But then it locked into this pattern, always, always at 2:13 a.m. That precision is, wow.
Right. That schedule, it feels less like random haunting and more like, well, something programmed. Why at 2:13 a.m.? The sources don't give us a history for that specific time, but the rigidity, that's what likely pushed Daniel past thinking he was just hearing things. You can't easily dismiss something that happens like clockwork, you know?
No, you really can't. And the messages changed, too. They got more direct, moving from questions to commands, like just lower.
Yeah.
And then that really possessive one, you're in my room.
That territorial aspect. And this is where his background really shifts the story. Anyone else might have just run, right, packed up and left. But Daniel Pike, sound engineer, he treats it like an audio problem, something to be documented, analyzed, maybe solved.
Which is fascinating.
Yeah.
He approaches it methodically, using his professional skills, setting up equipment.
Exactly. It's that methodical approach. He starts documenting it, using his expertise, maybe not realizing he was giving the entity information in a way, or engaging on its terms.
So he basically turns the house into his recording studio.
Right.
Tell us about the setup. The sources mention mics in the living room, the hall, and specifically near a floor vent.
Yeah, that vent placement is key. If you're trying to capture faint sounds from below, a vent acts like a natural amplifier, a sort of acoustic channel. He'd likely be using very sensitive microphones, condenser mics maybe, perhaps bounder mics placed right on the floor to catch vibrations. He was trying to get clean, undeniable proof, remove any doubt about what he was hearing.
Okay, so he's ready. He sets up for the recording, the crucial night. What happened?
Well, he hits record, goes to bed, and then, right on schedule, bang on 2:13 a.m., the power flickers, then dies completely, house goes dark, silent.
The house reacting to being recorded.
Seems like it. And when he checks the recording later, hours of just silence, the quiet hum maybe, then, very faint, this fragile female voice again, "Don't leave me here," followed immediately by what the source calls a long dragging noise, like something or someone being moved.
Okay, that's already deeply disturbing. Proof captured. But it didn't stop there, did it? That's where it gets really...
Yeah, this is the part that shifts everything. After the dragging sound, the recording has Daniel's own voice, whispering something back. And Daniel, he was adamant, absolutely certain he never spoke. He was asleep, or at least silent.
Wait, so the recording captured his voice when he hadn't actually said anything?
That's the implication. It's staggering. The house, or whatever was in it, wasn't just making noise at him. It could apparently listen, capture his voice, and then play it back. synthesize it. It goes from being a source of sound to being a recorder itself, an active listener.
Wow. Okay, so the house is listening, recording, maybe even mimicking. The sound engineer gets caught in his own sound file. That's deeply unsettling. And that realization seems to be the trigger for him to stop just documenting and actually confront it physically.
Exactly. He moves from passive recording to active investigation. He forces open the basement door. The sources say it was warped shut, even nailed down. Someone didn't want it opened.
He's breaking into the house's secret space, the place the sounds were coming from. And what does he find down there? What's the atmosphere?
It connects right back to that first impression, the smell. Down there, it's strong, soil and rot, that faintly sweet smell, but much more intense, decay. It suggests the source of all this is deep in the foundations, literally in the earth beneath the house.
And physically, old shelves, boxes,
Yeah,
typical basement stuff.
some of that, yeah. But then he finds it. In the far corner, a small wooden door.
Small. How small?
Like, too small to stand up in, maybe a crawl space access, or something else. It implies confinement, it's just it was put in there. But the truly horrific detail, the physical proof around the door frame, deep, jagged claw marks.
Oh, wow. Claw marks, not just scratches.
No, like someone desperately, violently tried to claw their way out, digging into the wood. It's the physical evidence of the struggle that mirrors the recorded voice saying, "Don't leave me here." It connects the sound to a real physical past horror.
He sees the marks.
Yeah.
And then what? The house reacts again?
Immediately, as soon as he registers the claw marks, the physical proof, he hears it. Behind him, slow footsteps, bare feet on the concrete floor.
He turns around.
And no one's there.
Empty basement.
But something had been there.
Mm-hmm.
Or still was.
Yes, because hanging from the ceiling, swinging slightly, was one of his microphones.
Not one he brought down.
No, the source is clear. It was the microphone from his desk upstairs. He definitely didn't bring it down to the basement.
So the entity, it moved his equipment from upstairs to the basement while he was down there. It seems so. It's a physical manifestation, a demonstration of power. It's not just sound anymore, it's moving things. And specifically his things, his recording gear. It's like it's mocking his attempt to document it, showing it controls the space, controls his tools, it knows he's intruded.
That's terrifying. The ultimate violation, almost.
Yes.
Using his own stuff against him. Okay, so after that, things escalated quickly towards the end.
Yeah, the timeline gets very short. November 22nd. He sends one last email to his sister.
The final warning.
And it's incredibly direct. He tells her, "If I stop answering, don't come here." And then he explains why. The house remembers things it doesn't forget. And the final chilling line, "I think it's still recording me."
He realized it wasn't just a presence, it was a recorder, documenting him.
That was his final understanding, that the house itself had this capacity for memory, for documentation.
Yeah.
And it was focused on him.
And then silence. He was never heard from again.
Never again. About 3 weeks later, the police finally go in. Power's still off in the house. They find his laptop, open. And on the screen, an audio file waiting. Floor recording 13.wave.
Floor recording 13. Sounds like his systematic naming convention. The sound engineer, even at the end.
Right, professional habits. But when the police try to play it, they get static at first, then a low voice, whispering just 2 words. "Stop listening."
Stop listening.
And immediately after that whisper plays, the file corrupts itself. Just gone, unrecoverable.
Wow. So the house or the entity, it leaves a final message and then erases the evidence. It controls the recording and it controls the deletion. It gets the last word and then silences itself.
Exactly. It demonstrates the power to document and the power to erase. Daniel tried to capture it, but it captured him and then wiped the final proof.
Daniel Pike was officially declared missing January 2020. The house still stands, vacant.
And the local story, the folklore that lingers. They say if you go past the house late at night after midnight, you can sometimes hear knocking from the floorboards. 3 quiet knocks in perfect rhythm.
The pattern continues. 3 knocks, still there. Reflecting on this whole deep dive, the things that really stand out are that relentless 2:13 a.m. timing, the specific messages, that feeling of being known, and those claw marks, that physical evidence of sheer desperation in the basement. It lifts it beyond just a ghost story, doesn't it?
It really does. It feels like a documented case of something predatory in the environment itself. And Daniel's final realization that the house was recording him connects directly to that final corrupted file. It documented, then erased. It controlled the whole narrative, including his disappearance.
So thinking about this, what does it leave us with? What does it mean for you listening? Daniel's final warning, the house remembers. It makes you wonder, right? The idea that silence isn't empty, that it might be active, recording. What could we learn if the quiet places in our own lives were actually keeping a record? What would your house, what would it remember about you?